Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bros Talk MMA.
Shama.
I'm your host, UTICA, undeniably the illest cat around, aka Mr. Make This Pick Real Quick. I'm here with my bro, host extraordinaire.
You know what it is. It's RayBuck. It's Trackle Jordan. It is the Parlay God.
Yes, indeed, folks. We are here to cover this weekend's pay-per-view, UFC 312 going down in Australia. We got a middleweight bout for the championship between Dricus Du Plessis going up against Sean Strickland. And we also have a women's strawweight bout for the championship going on. In the co-main event, we got Weili Zhang going up against Tatiana Suarez. This is billed as a 13-fight card, so we're going to start things off in the lightweight division, I believe. No, the flyweight division, my apologies.
What a dumbass.
We got Hyun Park going up against Tumendemberel. We got Park coming in 2-0 in the UFC, 9-0 overall. And we got Tumendemberel coming in. They're 0-1 in the UFC, 8-1 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. I'm going to be going with Park in this one by KO or decision. They're going to be older by 3 years, a little less rangy of a fighter, well-rounded, definitely has the potential edge in the striking, but outside of that, I don't really got a lot more info on him. And to be honest, this does look like a prop-up fight for Park. So, and I guess on the other side, more of like a do-or-die situation for Tumendemberel. They're going to be the younger and longer fighter of the two. He has grappling, but I've noticed, especially like in his last outing, he likes to stand. Gassed in that fight, unfortunately. I'm assuming because of a long layoff, and he was actually slated to appear in the UFC back in 2024, earlier than when he actually did, which was late in the year. And I just think that everything got to him. I think he can perform better, but I think now he's kind of played himself into this position where they're willing to bring a prospect up over him. But if he's able to perform, then UFC wins. It's one of those situations where whoever wins, UFC wins. But I'm gonna be going with Park in this one.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going with too many damn letters in your name. I'm going to go with my man. He is the younger fighter. He is the longer fighter. He did gas last time, so there is a question of his cardio. But I think he is very active in those first 2 rounds. And if he's able to win the first 2 and just keep it standing for the third, he should win this fight. I don't see him as a crazy threat. Like he said, he doesn't really have a lot of power. Mm-hmm. He's not a he's not a powerful striker. But I think he can put enough on him those first 2 rounds to win out. So I guess I'm betting on him not to gas.
Yeah.
In the 3rd round.
Well, I think this is why he's getting back in there so fast because, like I said, his last outing wasn't good, but he was supposed to have gotten in there long before that. And, I just think that he wants to show that was kind of just a one-off situation, but I don't know. I feel like this Park cat, he just looks like he's gonna, he's 9-0. Just looks like a killer to me. So I'm gonna be going with Park. But moving on to the lightweight division, we got about between Quillan Salkilld going up against Anshul Jubli. We got Salkilld coming in, making their UFC debut, 7-1 overall, and are currently riding a 7-fight win streak. We got Jubli coming in. They are 1-1 in the UFC, 7-1 overall as well, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Salkilld in this one by decision or KO. They're the younger, longer of the 2 fighters, well-rounded, more active. Having fought just 4 months ago. They're gonna have the edge in the grappling. Not a lot of info outside of that, but it just looks like this is also a prop-up fight, especially with this being the hometown kid. I feel like Jubli kind of same situation as Tumendemberel. Like, let me break him down. He's older by 5 years, less rangier of the two fighters, a technical striker. Definitely looks to point fight to victory, but if he can find a finish, then he'll gladly take it. But in their last outing, they just showed a lack of mental toughness. Against a guy who's basically at a journeyman status in their career, a vet, super vet, Mike Breeden, who just basically went in there and outdogged him. It was almost like Jubli was kind of shocked in there when it came to the third round. Homeboy just was taking everything he was throwing at him and started barking at him and really just like getting in his face and talking to him, and it like broke him. He just he was winning the entire fight, and then when it came down to those moments, he just literally, it looked like he froze up, and then he got knocked out. And he hasn't fought since then. So, I mean, he'll be coming off of a 1 and 3 month layoff by the time this fight happens. And to me, it's the same thing as Tumendemberel. He was a prospect at one point, but then, just one bad outing kind of has played him into this position where, given his record and just like that, he's 1-1 in the UFC. It gives an opportunity for this dude Salkild's win to look, pretty legitimate, as opposed to, it being one of those things where he's coming in against the can and just, drops him. Nah, he's going up against a skilled fighter. It's just a matter of if Jubli actually comes in and has gotten over that mental hurdle. I don't know what it was that got to him in those moments, but he literally just froze up and, got knocked out. And now it feels like he's being used to either prop up a fighter or still maintain himself as one of the few India prospects that the UFC has. So remains to be seen what'll happen. I guess we'll have to wait till Saturday. But given all of that, to wrap that up into one nice little, bow present, whatever. I just fucked that up. I'm gonna be going with Salkilld.
I like Salkilld too. I like him better than Jubli for all the reasons you just stated. He was just just a weak ass performance last fight, and it was literally, it seemed like the back and forth that was being talked. I mean, because I think they were pretty even in that first round. But
I think he was. To me, he was
possibly even
piecing
winning.
him up for 2 rounds, bro, and all he really needed to do was coast the third. Because, yeah, he wasn't going to knock Breeden out, but
No.
all he had to do was just keep it fucking at distance and just piece him up, coast to a decision victory.
Yeah.
And he'd be looked at in a whole different light and would be in a whole different position on this card. But I just feel like he played himself.
He did play himself. And I think that's the big thing with me is that's low fight IQ. You know what I mean? That's a lack of heart. Heart's very big in this game. So
I think what happened is he tried to finish homie. I think he was like, you know what? I'm going to go out there and finish this fool. Threw the kitchen sink at him, and homeboy was just kind of like, he was feeding off of it and getting more hyped, and I think it just fucked him up. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm dropping bombs on this cat, and he's not doing nothing.
Yeah, and it just, instead of, like you said, having the IQ to just, hey, let's just coast this one out, he just, kind of just flamed out.
He really did. So I got to go with Salkilld on this one.
Bruh.
I think he takes it down. And he's got the hometown advantage. I think that's something I'm starting to look at now with my bets and my picks. Is that there's got to be a little bit of a reasoning there that it could happen that way.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Pogues
got robbed
definitely
last fight.
Got robbed on that last card.
What the hell was that?
We're not even gonna get into that. Anyways, moving on to a welterweight bout, we have Kevin Jousset going up against Jonathan Micallef. We got Jousset coming in 2-1 in the UFC, 10-3 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Micallef coming in, making their UFC debut, 7-1 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. My pick's going to be with Micallef by either sub or KO. They're going to be the younger and longer of the two fighters, well-rounded, edge and grappling, and I would suggest that they definitely mix it up in this bout, against Jousset. Zap his energy, and just keep him guessing and not able to really, set up his offense. Not a lot of info on him, but I feel like given that his debut is up against one of these, pretty top rising prospects, I would say, in Jousset, and somebody I think, UFC covets to an extent, being that they want to still appeal to their French market. So, you need fighters to perform well. But I would say giving a debut fighter Kevin Jousset means that they also believe in him. And I don't want to say this is, a repeat of the first 2 fights, but Kevin Jousset did get pieced up against Brian Battle in front of the French crowd in his last outing. Didn't look that great. When he fights normally, I mean, it's good, but it's not like the most fan friendly. He goes out there, technical fighter. If he can find a finish, he'll take it, but if not, he's glad to just point you up to a decision. So once again, just the fact that they're giving him Jousset right out the gate tells me that if he makes good on it and can win this fight, then he's going to get put right into the mix. Or Kevin Jousset wins and they, are able to maintain a fighter that can appeal to one of their other markets. You got Jousset coming in. He's older by 6 years. Once again, a technical point fighter. Finds finishes if they make themselves available. No real grappling. And like I said in his last fight, it was proven that he can break if he's pressured enough. And, somebody lays on the aggression and kind of puts him on his back foot, then he doesn't have much to offer. He's going to need to take this basically to a decision to win. The longer this fight goes, I feel like the more it plays into Jousset's favor. But for me, just after saying all that, my pick's got to go with Micallef.
I've got to disagree with you. I've got to go with Kevin Jousset. Kevin Jousset has more in-ring time in the UFC, and I think that says a lot. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to pick those fighters who are just coming in. This is their first chance, you know what I mean, or first time under the bright lights.
Just
and
pick one, but okay.
Sometimes you got to pick one, my boy. You know what I mean? But who else? Okay, show me. What are you talking about?
Oh, he picked Salkilld.
Yeah.
He's making his debut.
He's making his debut. Other guys 1-1. Like, we're talking about, he's at least got 3 or 4 fights in the UFC.
He's got 3.
He's got 3 fights in the UFC. Okay. Yeah. So 3 fights in the UFC. This other guy had 2 fights.
Come on now, dog.
Whatever, man. All I'm saying.
Really one fight differential.
But that's what I'm saying is he just, you know what I mean? He has a little bit of experience there. He's not going to have the jitters that. Another thing, Jonathan Micallef is coming in, fighting in front of his hometown crowd as his first fight in the UFC. That's got to be a lot of pressure.
It is.
And again, he does have a little bit of a home field advantage, right? Because he's fighting in front of his hometown crowd. But I think there's a lot of pressure that comes with that as your very first fight in the UFC.
There's a lot of pressure to potentially go on a 2-fight skid, too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with that one of those being against the debutee.
You're telling me he's fighting on a pay-per-view as his entry into the UFC?
I mean, that's what I'm
saying. The biggest
stage. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not like. Maybe he's built for it.
Maybe he's not built for it. I think it's a way to appeal to the Australian and New Zealand crowd. So like, let's put a hometown guy on the card, right? We see that every time they go into another country. So I just think it's going to be too much for him. I think Kevin Jousset just uses a higher fight IQ to beat him and takes his dub. So that'll be the first fight I beat you at.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean? As I take this card.
Okay, just real quick. I just want to note that
Or
Micallef
second fight.
has finishes by submission. That's what he's got most of his finishes by. And then he follows it up with a couple of KOs under his belt. This dude, Jousset, has no grappling. So, I mean,
He
my
has a
guy
submission.
Micallef has more routes to victory.
I think you're right? I think he's probably got a little bit more submission skill, a little bit more grappling skill, but there's ring IQ, which he doesn't have, and he doesn't have UFC IQ. So that being said, Jousset's gonna win, bro. Like, that'll just be the second fight I win. I'll be 3-0 at this point. You'll be 1-2. You know what I mean?
Damn, son.
You're looking at me all sad and shit, fucking getting ready to well up. You know what I mean? And I'll just keep
my
winning the
God.
card. You know how it works.
All right. Moving on to another lightweight bout, we have Kody Steele making his debut against Rongzhu. We got Steele coming in, like I said, making their debut, 7-0 overall. We got Rongzhu coming in, they're 1-3 in the UFC, 25-6 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. My pick's gonna be with Steele. I almost went with Rongzhu, but then I just had to go with Steele. He's gonna be. I got him by either KO or sub in this one. He's gonna be older by 5 years, a little less rangy of the two, somewhat well-rounded, but definitely is there to just throw hands. Not a lot of info outside of that. I think he's gonna look to, just overpower Rongzhu in all facets. Could be a prop-up fight potentially, or, kind of like an actual show and prove, because Rongzhu is still pretty young. So there is, still some potential there to squeeze out, but I don't know. So it's like you got Rongzhu coming in, he's younger, slightly longer of the two, well-rounded and likes to throw hands himself. A lot of fights under his belt. So, I mean, even though he's 26 with like 31 fights, he still could be developing, especially at a UFC level, because, a lot of his wins are just like on smaller overseas organizations. But yeah, just gonna go in there, throw hands till someone falls. Not a lot of his fights go to decision. And he's either here to prop Steele up or prove that he's still a fun young prospect that the UFC can put on some bangers with. But I'll be going with Steele in this one.
I'm going with Steele. Rongzhu's here to prop up Steele like a tripod at the end of the day. Like, Rongzhu, I'm sorry, and this is gonna sound horrible.
That is crazy.
That is the truth.
That is crazy,
bro.
G.
How much?
No, we've had these conversations, but this is just not for the fucking pod, my G. That's gonna sound crazy.
All right. I'm gonna okay. Let me put it this way. I'm gonna go with Kody Steele. Rongzhu is the wrong dude. Not gonna work for me.
There you go.
Not gonna make it happen.
There you go. I can rock with that. Thank you. I was about to go fucking super left. All right, next up, we have a bantamweight bout. We have the other Topuria making his UFC debut. Aleksandre Topuria going up against Colby Thickness.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
What's his nickname?
Slickness.
Oh, hell no.
Sounds like a male performer at a Diddy party.
Slickness, thickness, going up against Aleksandre Topuria. We got Topuria coming in. He's the featherweight champion's brother, Ilia Topuria. He's making his UFC debut, 5-1 overall. So he's like 4-1 in his last 5, I believe. Anyway, yeah, we got thickness coming in.
Pause.
Whose man is
This
this?
is crazy.
Is your man?
This didn't sound like it was going to be that crazy. I knew this was going to be crazy, but I didn't think it was going to be that crazy until I actually now am on camera saying this shit.
Mhm.
This is crazy.
I refuse. He's Colby to me.
So we got Thickness coming in, making his UFC debut on super short notice. 7-0 overall, undefeated. My pick is with Thickness.
Nigga, you gay.
By decision. He's gonna be the younger and bigger fighter.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yo.
Oh, this is fucking crazy, bro. Oh my god. He's gonna be well-rounded.
Wait, what?
more active.
Did you just say that fucking that fighter is well-rounded just now?
Well-rounded.
Pause.
He's fought most recently just like 2 months ago. Outside of that, I don't got a lot of info. Topuria is coming in. He's gonna be older of the two fighters by 4 years, and the smaller of the two. I'd say he's pretty well-rounded in his own right. But he just hasn't fought in a long time. At this point, it's almost been 2 years since he's fought. I feel like, this is one of those situations where either he's just riding off the last name of his brother, or he actually, has some potential to, forge his own path. But I looked into his record, and he's kind of fought some cans along the way, and I'm not sure if he looks good. Like, his highlight reel looks amazing. He looks like he's about to come in and just, do work just like his bro. But when I looked at the records of his opponents, not only were some of these fights super long ago, but then also some of these guys either went downhill from there or just were never seen from again after their bouts.
I want to throw a pause in there where not a pause like that, not a Cameron pause, but a pause where you literally put their face and their record like right here and just like run them back to back to back, bro. Like, because you put me on game, bro. Like, because I was like, well, look at, you know what I mean? He's got some little highlights on his Instagram and like on YouTube and whatever. And then you showed me those dudes and their records, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, this dude was literally fighting
crash test dummies.
Crash test dummies, yeah, like heavy bags with arms. Like,
yeah. Yeah, fucking just like the real life, like the replica bodies that they put on like
these motherfuckers fight mannequins, bro. Like,
those ones though when they were like showing how weapons really like affect the body and shit, and like those real human
those
joints,
body
like,
gel nodes.
yeah, they're all see-through and shit. Yeah, that's basically who he was fighting. And that's why I say, like, okay, in these scenarios, most times, outside of like the Diaz brothers, and hey, please feel free to put in the comments any other successful brother duos, which even with them, to a degree. But not a lot of times are the brothers or siblings in MMA specifically all that like great or mimic one another's success. It's usually one's good and one ain't. I was gonna go for Topuria's original opponent even before this fight got changed out to Thickness. I was gonna go. I was gonna go with Kody Haddon, because I do believe that this is another scenario. Like, I guess this is gonna be a reoccurring theme. A lot of these fights are either to boost someone else's profile or to maintain someone else's profile, maybe at a lower level, but still there's still some juice to squeeze there. Whereas, most times you get fights and it's like, there's more evenly matched, opponents, but I just feel like these are literally, it goes one of two ways, but either way, the UFC wins. I'm going with thickness in this one.
Overkill.
By decision, like I said, I just believe that he's actually, like, I feel like taking advantage of an opportunity where not only can he make his name as a prospect for the Australian market, but also can kind of separate himself even more so by getting the Topuria name up under his belt. Aleksandre Topuria just has a little bit of fights in a long span of time and is coming off a long layoff for this one. And I don't know. The dudes he was going up against just aren't impressive to me. So, yeah.
I'm going to go with Topuria. I cannot go with Colby. It's the only name I know him by.
Okay.
Boring. Topuria, you know what I mean? I watched some videos of him, you know what I mean? Some highlights and that sort of thing, right? And highlights can be a lie. But he just seemed more violent to me. He seemed to have more power in his hands than Colby did. Colby has great grappling. I think Topuria probably has slightly less grappling than Colby. Based on the fact that he was fighting. I mean, we're talking about tomato cans. Like, these records are so atrocious. Like, we're just gonna. Well, you're gonna see him. You're just gonna see him, and like, wait, why are you still getting beat up? Like, what's the point of showing up to the cage if like that's what your record is?
Somebody's willing to pay you.
But how much are they paying you when they know you're that trash? Like,
I don't know, bro.
Bro, I think you gotta pay me like a rack or more to get beat up like that. Like, I don't know. Even then, it's like, I don't know. All I'm saying is Topuria's fought nothing but trash cans. I mean, we're talking about raging dumpster fires. But that being said, he beat the shit out of those cans.
Did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
The only person he lost to is the only person that has a winning record
True statement.
out of all of his opponents. And it actually like went on to win after facing him and stuff, but still disappeared from the scene for the most part.
And I guess this is what I want to say. This is what I'm going to end with. He was in a championship or a champion's camp, right, with his brother. Hopefully he sponged something up off of that and brings that into this fight. This is going to be a great fight. Like, I'm not like 100% that, you know what I mean, Topuria is going to win, but he just seemed more violent.
Another note is during the press conference from last week's fight card in Saudi Arabia, Dana was asked about him and whether or not he was excited or if there's anything he's looking forward to with his debut. And I don't even think Dana even really realized that he was even debuting or even a part of the organization.
And sure, if his brother is good, would love to see both of them on the card.
I want to say he got signed to the organization though back in August, I think.
I'm not sure. All I know is that Dana didn't really, and I know, like when you got somebody coming in like that, especially one of the champions on your roster's brother coming in, I would feel like you'd be a little more enthused. I feel like, okay, for instance, Muhammad Usman, there was a nice little push behind him. He won the Ultimate Fighter in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
He's proved to, just be another, dude on the roster.
Yeah.
Definitely not of championship caliber like his brother. Not in the same weight class, but still doesn't even look anywhere near like Kamaru, even in fight style, all that. And he came in and he was hyped a little bit.
He was. I was on him. I was on the hype train for him, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I bet on him that first fight out, and he shit the bed. Lost me money.
I mean, so don't get me wrong. I think that there will be a nice little, reel put together for him that they can, kind of hype him up and, put a little bit more behind this fight and behind this card with his debut. I'm sure they'll take advantage of it. But just looking at Dana's reaction, he looked like he could care less and literally was just kind of like, if he does well, great. If he doesn't, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So that tells me a lot as well. Like most times these guys, they would get some type of hype like, yeah, I've seen some of his work and it looks good. He didn't even get that. Like,
Yeah.
not even like a compliment of like, yeah, hopefully he's what Ilya could be. Like, not
It's
nothing.
probably based off the cans he's been beaten up. Like, oh, great. This guy's, 5-1, and then he looked like he did the research and went, he's 5-1 against toddlers. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you went into a daycare and beat up kids? Good job, bro. Like, I guess you can put that on your record if you want to, if it's official.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying, y'all. So, moving on to a women's flyweight matchup, we got Kong Wang going up against Bruna Brazil.
Just go from thickness to Wang, huh?
I mean, it had to be said, man.
It had to be said.
It had to be said.
I get you.
We got Wang coming in, 1-1 in the UFC. Did I even say her opponent's name? We got Kong Wang going up against Bruna Brazil.
I'm pretty sure you did, but
Wang
coming in is funny too.
1-1 in the UFC, 6-1 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Brazil coming in, 2-2 in the UFC, 4-1 with 1 draw overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. My pick's gonna be with Wang for a KO or a decision in this fight. They're gonna be the slightly older of the two by a year, and the longer of the two fighters. They're gonna be a striker primarily. I would say they got okay takedown defense if they actually are dialed in and don't get overzealous and get fucking
Busting that too quick.
starched and fucking
Blow their load too quick.
get caught in a submission. But I'm hoping that last fight she realizes, yeah, like I made a crucial mistake. Should have won that one, but ended up dropping it.
Should have paced herself. You got to pace that. You got to pace that Wang. You know what I mean? Can't. You know what I mean? You got to dial in. You know what I mean? You got to know how many strokes you got. Isn't that what Bernie Mac said? Like, man, got to know how many strokes you got.
Hopefully she's here to right the wrongs against Brazil.
And me. She fucking lost my goddamn money. I bet on her fucking ass. You know what I mean?
Brazil is going to be the slightly younger and less rangy of the two fighters. A striker with no real grappling, in my opinion, that I've ever seen at least. And not as aggressive as or threatening as her profile pictures look, or how she presents herself and furrows up her eyebrows. Like, it's really kind of a pretty non-threatening attack. Very basic. She's making her flyweight debut in this fight though, which she's fought at flyweight in the past and heavier weights in the past, but in her UFC stint, it's mostly been strawweight, and she's even shown to have had trouble at that weight class. So I don't really know what she thinks she's gonna do moving up a weight. Maybe she was just overly depleting herself, and that's why she was having trouble. But I feel like in this one, she's gonna need to kind of do similar to what happened to Wang in her last fight, which was she got caught early, or she not caught early, but she got caught, and then just got wrapped up and submitted.
What do you mean by that?
But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Wang's gonna come in super dialed in and is gonna, make quick work of Brazil in a stand-up fashion. So I'll be going with Wang.
Kong's gonna put the Wang in Bruna Brazil.
Bruh.
All right. Kong's gonna put the Wang on Bruna Brazil. Watch Wang slap Bruna Brazil.
Oh my God, bro. Come on, man.
We're not monetized yet.
But we, I don't want any channel strikes, bro.
To the last name. Okay, Kong Wang, I believe, will beat Bruno Brazil. That being said, Bruno Brazil is just, I'm sorry, she's just terrible. She has little grappling. She's not a powerful striker. Kong Wang did blow her load a little early in her last fight, but it was exciting. Those first 2 rounds of that fight were exciting. She was grappling, she was striking. It looked good. She just got a little overconfident, I think, when she came out in that 3rd round and got caught. And it was dumb. It lost me money. I'm not a fan. I don't like even betting on people that lose me money generally, but I really do believe that Kong Wang will make it happen for me. What?
That just sounded funny to me. Conway will make it happen for me.
Hey,
Anyway.
my Wang will make it happen this time.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
Go ahead. We're good. I'm gonna let it go. I'm good.
Moving on to a lightweight bout, we have Tom Nolan going up against Vyacheslav Borshev. We got Nolan coming in 2-1 in the UFC, 8-1 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Borshev coming in. They are 3-3 with 1 draw in the UFC, 8-4 with that 1 draw overall, and 2-2 with that 1 draw in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Borshev in this one. I originally picked Nolan, but decided to switch things over to Borshev by either decision or KO. They're gonna be the older fighter by 9 years, significantly smaller of the two. But they're a volume striker, and I just believe have faced better competition during their tenure with the UFC. They've shown to be a durable dogfighter. And I just think that if they touch up Nolan and are able to, weather the earlier parts of the fight, and take it into that, second half of the second round and even potentially to the cards, I think that he could touch up Nolan to a point where he either breaks him somewhere in the fight or just, shows dominance over, 3 rounds, is able to take 2 of the 3. Nolan's going to be the younger and significantly bigger of the 2 fighters. Power striker and finisher. But I just think his competition just hasn't been as stiff. And when faced with even slightly decent competition, i.e. Nicholas Mata, he got starched real fast. I think he's just going to need to get Borshev out of there early and not let this go to a decision, and that's his best route to victory. But I think Borshev's going to outdog him and kind of just show like there's levels, between the competition he's faced and where he's trying to head. So I'll be going with Borshev.
Borshev for the win. Borshev has far more power than Nicholas Mata. And if you got starched by Nicholas Mata, you're going to get starched by Borshev. Tom Nolan's great. Tom Nolan, you know what I mean? Obviously, young fighter. Big fighter. Like, he's good. I just don't. He just needs a little bit more time in the UFC. And I just don't like this fight for him. Because I think he has a route, you know what I mean, up. Like, he's going to climb the ranks. I think he just needs to start a little easier than Borshev. You know what I mean? Like, I think they not necessarily a can, but just somebody a little bit less than that to fight for, you know what I mean, the next fight if they want to build him up. Now, maybe they don't want to build him up. Maybe this is a show me fight. Like, show me that you belong here.
I think it kind of is in a sense because he lost to Nicholas Mata when he was kind of touted as a high prospect. Then he won his next 2, but it was against guys that he should win against. So I think now this is kind of like that re-entry into like, okay, you think you ready to go in the deep end again? All right, let's see.
All right, pull your floaties off.
Yeah. We'll
All right.
see.
I see what you're saying, but yeah, I gotta agree with that. I think he's gonna sink without the floaties, Bo.
I think so too. I know he's gonna be in front of the home crowd, but I don't know, man. There's just something about this fight where I just think that fucking durability is really gonna be that X factor. And then, like I said, unless Borshev's never been knocked out, so it's like unless Nolan can get him out of there, I just can't see this going to decision and it going in his favor.
I agree with you.
All right, moving on to a
If
featherweight.
it does, though, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna preface it this. It's gonna be on that Australian bias bullshit. But go ahead.
Hey, once again, Jamal Pogues.
Fuck.
Moving on to a featherweight bout, we got Jack Jenkins going up against Gabriel Santos. We got Jenkins coming in. They are 3-1 in the UFC, 13-3 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Santos coming in. They are 1-2 in the UFC, 11-2 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. My pick's going to be with Jenkins by either KO or decision in this one. He's going to be the older fighter by 3 years, somewhat smaller, a striker with super duper powerful kicks, like kicks that literally break arms and legs and shit like that. He has some grappling, but really his route to victory in this one is to just keep it at kick distance and just kind of pick Santos apart and avoid the grappling exchanges. Santos is going to be the younger and slightly bigger of the two fighters, well-rounded with the edge in grappling. And once again, he just needs to avoid kicks and get this fight to the ground immediately, and that's his route to victory. But I just feel like this is a prop-up fight, sort of, for Jenkins. Like, they're definitely going to try and show out for the Australian crowd. They're not going to give some of their boys easy fights, but definitely fights they can win. I'm not gonna say should win, but fights they can win. This one, but definitely like trying to give them, favor. I'm not saying easy fights, but definitely once again fights they can win.
I agree with that. Jack Jenkins is a crazy striker. One of the best in 145 for sure. And I think the UFC is just moving towards a striking dominant style because it's more entertaining. I think it appeals to more fans than jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Now, am I a fan of the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling? Of course I am, because I really understand what's going on.
It
But
has to be dominant, bro.
it has to be dominant.
You can't point. They don't want point fighting grapplers.
Yes. Which, I mean, again, once you get to a certain level, high level grapplers, it's gonna just take a while to get the position that you want. You know what I mean? It takes a small mistake. It's chess, not checkers at that point. And there's little tweaks, little things that they're doing that if you're really paying attention here, if you're truly a fan of MMA and you're truly a fan of this sport, you notice. But you know what I mean, Joe Schmo down the street who just wants to see somebody get pieced up does not see. And it's just like, why is that dude humping that dude? Like, why is he, you know what I mean, crotch sniffing? Why is he whatever? Which I've said that too. But also because they're not actually moving. They're not trying to advance or wait for this mistake or, you know what I mean, change positions.
Lay and pray.
Lay and pray. Exactly. That's my pick.
I'm going with Jenkins. Santos, don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily know if they got grappling capability, so I think that they should use it to their advantage, but don't get it wrong. He's going to go in there to scrap, so it's going to be a fun fight. It could even be a fight that is close and goes to the cards, but I feel like anything that's even remotely close on this side of the map, for one of their guys, it's probably going to go in their favor.
I agree.
All right, moving on to a welterweight bout. We have Jake Matthews going up against Francisco Prado. We got Matthews coming in 13-7 in the UFC, 20-7 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. We got Prado coming in. They are 1-2 in the UFC, 12-2 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. My pick's going to be with Prado in this one by either KO or decision. He's going to be the younger and slightly smaller of the two fighters. Power striker that can grapple, but he's probably going to have the advantage striking. So I just feel like he should avoid grappling if at all possible. Not fucking throw for the fences, but just, take his time, piece Matthews up, and try and find finishes as they present themselves. We got Matthews coming in. He's going to be the older of the two fighters by 8 years and slightly bigger. He's a grappler who does like to stand and, get his time in on the feet. But, if he's looking to take the path of least resistance, he should just take Prado down to the ground. I believe he'll have the edge there. Prado can grapple, but I believe Matthews is the superior grappler. I think Prado will make it interesting, but ultimately, Matthews, I think that's where his bread and butter is. So Prado should keep this on the feet. He does that. Probably either piece up Matthews or, like I said, throw some bombs and some accurate bombs. Find his way to victory by knockout.
I gotta go with Jake Matthews. Now, this is what I'm betting on. All the things you just said. Jake Matthews, if he plays the Jake Matthews game and fights his fight and not Prado's fight, you know what I mean? He trades a couple, gets in close, gets the takedown, pieces him up on the ground.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. And it goes, I think, smoothly for the most part.
Now, Prado don't got no decisions, like he hasn't ever won a decision. So
now that's what I'm betting on. I'm betting for that game plan. But then there could be the ego Jake Matthews that decides I'm gonna stand up and bang because I can trade him with the best. And that's a very big possibility here. This is a hard fight to call because of that. If he decides not to go with his strength, like we see a lot of the fighters do, not our fighters, but the fighters do, and just do some bullshit where like, I'm gonna stand and bang with you, I'm gonna get in the phone booth. Jake Matthews, you lose. Francisco Prado beats your shit out of you. Mm-hmm. He's got far more power in his hands. But if you change and exchange a little bit for you to get, a proper takedown and get him down on the ground,
yeah,
I think you win that.
Yeah, I think
all day.
I think Prado may have some cardio issues, so that could play a factor, So definitely Matthews is live, for a win, but I don't know. I just feel like Prado is evolving and will get this done.
And again, Jake Matthews, you're the hometown kid, right? Mm-hmm. You just got to edge him out a little bit. You know what I mean? Just beat him enough.
Yeah.
Catch a dub.
Oh, shit. Moving on to a light heavyweight bout, we have Jimmy Crute going up against Rodolfo Bellato. Bellato's coming in on somewhat short notice. We got Crute coming in 4-4 with 1 draw in the UFC, 12-4 with 1 draw overall, and 1-3 with that 1 draw in their last 5 fights. We got Bellato coming in 1-0 in the UFC, 12-2 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. My pick's going to be with Bellato by either KO or decision. Pretty simple. I mean, he's going to be the slightly older fighter by a year, bigger of the two, and is just going to come in there. He has power. He's going to throw bombs, look to take Crute's head off, and can grapple if necessary, but really he's going to be looking to get the knockout finish. Crute, slightly younger and smaller of the two, but I would say way older just in like fight years in terms of just like he's weathered for sure. He's had some injuries and shit that have, kept him on the sidelines. He's a striker that can grapple too, but I think that he's going to definitely want to mix it up with Bellato and avoid any like extended standing exchanges with Bellato. But he's coming off of a year-plus layoff, and, I just feel like he's on his way out. Like they both kind of have the same amount of fights. Crute edges him a little bit with a few more. But like I said, he's just been through the ringer and looks to have, started to hit the latter end of his career. So I think that this could even be like a swan song. Like if he wins in front of his hometown or loses, I feel like this is probably Jimmy Crute's last fight.
Are you telling him he needs to cut the gloves off?
I think that's what's just gonna happen, bro.
Damn. Well, I've got to go with Bellato too, because I do agree with that thought process. And I never, ever, ever, ever am going to bet on a fighter that I think is getting ready to cut the gloves off and leave him in the ring. Because it's always trash. There's only been, I think, a couple of fighters that have whipped an ass and then cut the gloves off.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they always feel like they have another ass whipping in them if they whip one ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Robbie Lawler's so far the only one I've really seen get to sail off into the sunset outside of like Khabib and shit like that.
Yeah. There's not very many of them. That's not the fighter's style or fighter life. You know what I mean? So that being said, if I feel that way about him, then I can't bet on him.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, I've got to go with Bellato. I think we were on this one, right? Yeah, Bellato.
For sure.
So,
all right, moving on to a heavyweight matchup. We got Taliesin Teixeira going up against Justin Tafa. We got Teixeira coming in, making their UFC debut, 7-0 overall. We got Tafa coming in 4-4 with 1 no contest in the UFC, 7-4 with that 1 no contest overall, and 3-1 with that 1 no contest in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Teixeira in this one. There's a small part of me that wants to go with Tafa, but just given the measurements and just where they're at in their careers, I got to go with Teixeira on this one by either KO or decision. He's going to be the younger and significantly bigger of the two fighters. A striker with some grappling, but is definitely going to look to come in there and take Tafa's head off. Looks like a prop-up fight to boost his profile and get him in there against an established vet and kind of, get him going quicker and just like see where they can take him. Tafa's going to be the older of the two fighters by 6 years. Significantly smaller of the two. He's going to be a striker. His main X factor is his durability. He's never been knocked out. So Teixeira, who has 7 knockouts on his record, so he's finishing fights quick, fast. He actually has 6 knockouts on his record and 1 submission. So he's finishing all of his opponents, so it remains to be seen if he really has that cardio. Tafa, who's mad durable, and I mean, he's not the best with decisions either and doesn't go to him unless he loses them. But I feel like he has that UFC veteran grit to where if somebody's going to go all 3 rounds, it's probably he'll be the more capable of the two. Whereas I could see him getting, battered early on in the fight, but then being able to, dog it out and come on strong in the second half. But given, like I said, the fact that Teixeira is just so much younger and bigger than Tafa, I have to go with him in this instance. So I'll be going with Teixeira.
Taliesin Teixeira should beat Justin Tafa. I think the reason you want to go with Tafa is nostalgia. Him and his brother just haven't shown shit in the last few fights. Just is what it is. He is in front of his hometown crowd, so you want to give him a little bit of points there. But at the end of the day, he can be a punching bag.
Seen him knock out tall dudes though. I mean, but Austin Lane is kind of just whatever, so it's not impressive. But that's that's the only thing is I worry about him just being able to land one and that one being the one because he has that kind of power.
He does have the capability for sure.
He's short, so he's gonna throw it from an awkward angle and just shit like that. And like I said, I don't think he's gonna get knocked out by this dude. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but then again, I also don't know how else it happens because I don't think this fight's gonna go to the ground.
Well, but the thing is it could.
But I think if it does, it's going to be a desperation attempt from Teixeira.
Maybe. I mean,
because I think he's going to be getting something's going to hurt him at that point, and then he's going to be diving for legs.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's a great call out. You're right. So hopefully it never goes to the ground. Hopefully Taliesin Teixeira just smacks Tafa up, keeps it at distance. I would say keep it at distance. Don't let him get too close to you. Piece him up. You know what I mean? Let him slow down. You know what I mean? And then knock his ass out. Well,
lean on him a little bit.
Yeah, lean him on a little bit. Attempt to knock him out of there in the third round. But yeah, keep it at a distance. Don't let him get in there close and hit you with a solid one. So yeah, Taliesin Teixeira for the win. Justin Tafa, I'm not gonna say he's live, but like he's got a puncher's chance.
Yeah, definitely the possibility. All right, folks, moving on to the co-main event of the evening. We have the women's strawweight championship on the line. We got Weili Zhang going up against Tatiana Suarez. We got the champ Zhang coming in 9-2 in the UFC, 25-3 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Suarez coming in. They are 7-0 in the UFC, undefeated at 10-0 overall. I'm going to be going with Zhang in this one by decision or KO. They're going to be the slightly older of the two and smaller of the two fighters. But she's super well-rounded, continuing to evolve. Should have the edge in striking in this particular bout. And I would say just as long as she keeps it on the feet, and takes it to the cards, I feel like the more it plays into her favor. So the longer this fight goes on, the more it plays into her favor. And I'm going to give the edge in grappling to Suarez, but there is a strong possibility, like I said, that Zhang's been evolving and she may be the superior grappler or at least skilled enough to get out of those exchanges and then bring it back to the feet and piece Suarez up. Suarez is going to be the younger and slightly bigger of the two. Super talented wrestler. But she's just had a bad bout with injuries over time that have kept her out of contention to where she should have vied for a title a long time ago at this point. And she's beat some of the top names in the division, but she ends up getting these injuries in between fights that end up laying her off for so long that it either takes her out of rankings or just, out of title contention. So, I think even with this fight, she's coming off of a year-plus layoff due to injury. So really, the only route I see for her to victory is to get this shit to the ground as soon as possible and fucking, submit Zhang, within like maybe those first 2 rounds. Once it gets past, that into that third round and on, I don't see how she wins. She don't got hands like that. And at that point, I'm assuming that now she's getting her takedowns stuffed. And for real, Weili is no joke on the ground. She's kind of the type, I feel like, who kind of is, she reminds me of Valentina Shevchenko, where she likes to take the challenge of what her opponent does best and beat them there. So this very well could be one of those things where if it does go to the ground and Weili Zhang wins, it's because she ground and pounds the shit out of fucking Suarez and just shows her like, yeah, you're not as ill as you think you are. Whereas Suarez, I think, is going to be shooting for the submission. So I got to go with the champ on this one, though. I'll be going with Weili.
Tatiana Suarez is just Weili's next beer.
Hey, give me another beer, bitch.
God damn.
She
10-0?
Drink that shit and keep it pushing.
7-0 in the UFC? Next beer?
I get it.
God
cool.
Damn.
Next beer, bro. End of the day, she has these long layoffs, which means there's bad training, there's bad coaches in there.
Well, also what it is too is like, yeah, she's getting hurt in very vital areas like her neck and her back and shit like that and her knee. Like she's getting hurt in areas where if you're a grappler, those become tender points.
Yeah. That's craziness. That's bad coaching. She has a. I'm sorry, like, and a whole bunch of people might be mad at me, but that's a bad camp. You know what I mean? You've got to take care of yourself when you're at this level of competition. You're the top 4 women's strawweight in the world. Like, you've got to be taking care of yourself. That being said, you're going against Weili Zhang. She doubles you in subs. She doubles you in KOs. I mean, she doubles you in decision. Or she actually like 5s you in KOs. My fault. Doubles you in subs a little bit more. You know what I mean? And has more decisions than you. Weili has it figured out. She's all around. Like you said, she will play your game if you need to, but she's better at it. So that is what it is. She does take that. I think that takes an extra challenge on her, which I don't like. I wish she would just do whatever is most comfortable for her, but she does kind of take that challenge, as you said. That being said, there's no way you don't go the champ. She's just gonna make it happen. In this division, who do you see? Who do you see going up against Weili and whipping her ass?
Nobody. This is the last level, to be totally honest, for her.
She's the final boss.
Not in terms of like Suarez being this super threat, but literally that's literally all you have left. And they should have faced each other, like I said, a long time ago. Like, Suarez should be very much decorated in this division had she been able to actually fight up to her potential during, the times that she's been sitting out. So this is long overdue already. But I just also think that because her specialties, she's basically only good in one facet. She doesn't have a lot of cage time, and she's not fighting like the top of the division like right now. Like she's faced names over time, but she doesn't have the resume right now to say that she could fucking stack up against Weili. I can't see it. Weili has the striking. She does have grappling. It just remains to be seen if it's at the level of Suarez. Or I guess if you can flip it, if Suarez is at the level of Zhang. Like,
I think that's what you have to say. She's the champion.
You don't know. So I gotta go with the champ.
I gotta go with the champ as well. Let me use the bathroom before you go to the Fine then. You know what I mean? I'll push through. I can push through. Let's push through.
Oh yeah.
This is bullshit.
That's champ shit right there. Fuck yeah. Moving on to the
main event of the evening.
We have a middleweight championship bout. We got Dricus Du Plessis going up against Sean Strickland. We got Du Plessis coming in. They are 8-0 in the UFC, 22-2 overall, and are currently riding a 10-fight win streak. We got Strickland coming in. They are 16-6 in the UFC, 29-6 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Du Plessis in this one by either sub or decision. They're gonna be the younger of the two fighters, well-rounded, a dog fighter, has proven to be a dog fighter. I didn't. Everything I'm about to say, I did not feel about Du Plessis once upon a time, and really was not a fan of Du Plessis, and not a fan of him really right now. But I have to be real with what's been going on, and homeboy has been running the table in the middleweight division. So it's like he's proven to be a dog fighter that carries power and aggressiveness all throughout the fight. I would suggest in this fight he continues to mix it up like he did in the last fight against Strickland, enabling him or leaving him unable to get his offense going. And, as long as he avoids long-standing exchanges or, getting put on his back foot and can control the cage, I feel like this is just going to be a repeat of the last fight. I would even say maybe even lean into the grappling even more and maybe get this done even quicker. Strickland is going to be older by 2 years. He's going to be a volume striker. He has wrestling, but he don't use it. He just likes to literally just press forward and jab people to death and pepper them up and just try and break them if he can within that 5 rounds, or just show a clinic, in striking. He's a durable and dog fighter as well. He likes to, pace himself and pour on that volume as the fight goes on. Round by round, he just, pours it on a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. In the last fight, though, he just ended up getting a step behind Du Plessis, catching some shots he didn't need to catch, and then getting taken down more than necessary, especially, going into those championship rounds, which literally definitely sealed the deal for Du Plessis to win. So, I mean, I don't really know how Strickland plans to change up the game plan. I don't see him going into grapple. And I feel like if he tries to kind of like pour on more of what he was trying to do in the last fight, it's just gonna, I feel like, just speed up the process even quicker. And yeah, I just feel like because he doesn't use grappling and the little bit of grappling he did do with Du Plessis, it was obvious like he's stepped away from that part of his game pretty significantly to the point where he's not really even a threat there. So I just feel like the only real path to victory he has is keeping Du Plessis on his back foot, controlling the cage, and basically just keeping him up against it and just peppering him with shots to the point he either breaks or he just shows a new like level in his striking that Du Plessis, wasn't ever going to be able to prepare for. So I got to go with Du Plessis. It's not like I want to, and Sean Strickland, I used to be a fan at one point, but he's kind of opened his mouth a little bit too much to where like, I'm not really rooting for him or feel any sort of like, damn, I wish Strickland would win. So it makes it easier to root for Du Plessis in this go around. And that's who I'll be going with as champ. So I expect the champs to retain their titles on this night.
You're right, but fuck Du Plessis. You know what I mean? Like, and it's really not even anything that he's done, or not necessarily not that he's done, but like he hasn't wronged me. Like he's a good fighter. He just beat my guy Israel Adesanya. You know what I mean? That's all. That's the only thing that hurts my feelings. That's the only reason I say that. But yeah, Du Plessis is a great fighter, and Du Plessis is probably gonna beat the shit out of Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland, you know what? You do open your mouth and you do say wild things.
Here's the thing, guys.
But at least you're real. Again, like,
yeah,
I respect real.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what
I mean, like I said, once upon a time I was a fan because I did like his outspokenness, but then it was almost like he got drunk with fucking like, everybody like, and then fools just feel like they can start saying anything, and it's just kind of like, whoa.
But you know what I mean? I still respect it.
Sure.
Like, I would rather know what you think than for you to like just, be PC, but I don't want you to say your shit behind closed doors. I want you to say your shit out in the open.
Some people get mad, when people fucking double, triple down on the wild shit that they say, but I mean, that is like the true like embodiment of just like, like I stand on mine. Like that's like I don't give a shit what any of you say, and like not even willing to give like the media friendly fucking apology or none of that. Like, nope, fuck it. This is what it is. Hate me. It's given the recent events with Bryce Mitchell that came up, and everything that Dana White had to say about that. Like, some people would say that's what's wrong with the UFC, but just like Dana said, that's kind of what's cool about the UFC. Like, fools get to say what they want, and the only way you can get any satisfaction out of their downfall is, watching them get
their ass
fucked
beat
up. What other way would you? What do you say after someone says some wild shit most times? I think he's good. beat the fuck up. Someone needs to sock that motherfucker in his mouth.
Perfect.
There you go.
So, Du Plessis, please sock Sean Strickland in his mouth.
Yeah.
Not for what he says or the fact that he says it, but just because I'm betting on you. Let's get to the parlays. I still been needing to piss, my nigga. Like,
Hey,
I'm
you're
so-
the one who's
whatever,
over
man.
here
I'm gonna go piss
fucking
now. Fuck
blah
that.
blah blah, fucking out of your
Damn, fucking hating.
yap trap
Whatever, my bro.
fool.
Tired of that shit.
Nigga literally kept his own self from taking a piss.
No, you kept me.
Can't
Because you
even
were
take
like,
accountability.
oh, you can't wait. I want you to wait, my boy.
Nigga, and then you decided to go on a fucking 5-hour rant about fucking Israel Adesanya, who has nothing to do with this card outside of having fought the fucking champion in his last bout. Oh, I got pissed now too.
Yeah, all right. That's okay for you, huh? Go ahead.
During the designated piss break that you created, yeah.
Sure. Get that little weak-ass stream.
Definitely not fucking...
Weak as a motherfucker, man.
Definitely not in the middle of fucking taping.
Oh, it's going still. People hear that weak-ass stream you got, my nigga.
Nah, nigga, we just ain't going straight into the water with it.
Bruh. Too much information.
That's weird. Maybe I should just do this by myself. Parlay God might just go ahead and do this by his
by all
goddamn
means,
self. You know
sir.
what I mean?
By all means.
Let me go ahead and explain something to you guys.
I'd love to see this. Let's
Me,
go.
the Parlay God, is the only one that has parlays this week.
I'll do it myself.
Because why? Because I'm the motherfucking Parlay God.
Because last week's lost.
Last week's did lose. You're right, motherfucker.
Assault.
Whatever, though. This week won't. I hope.
Go ahead, parlay, dude.
It's a motherfucking Parlay God. You know who it is. And I want to explain to you that my parlay is going to start off with Borshev. Second, Bellotto. Third, Zhang. If you want to get spicy,
It's looking spicy.
if that's what you're thinking you want to do. 4-pick parlay. Last pick of the leg, or last leg of the pick.
Huh?
Kong. My Wang. Make it happen.
Ooh, zesty.
So if you believe in my Wang, you'll hit.
Oh, man, let me get back over here. Ridiculous. So, yeah, folks, to be totally honest, I just don't have any parlays. There's not any,
Because
string
you're the
of...
parlay baby.
There's not
Like
any...
a parlay fetus.
There's
Like
not-
a parlay embryo. Parlay egg.
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet, nigga.
Yeah, there's just not any matchups or string of matchups that I believe, that you can really put together on this card.
I just did. I just put them together. They sound great. They look great. They're going to be great.
All right. Well, real quick, folks, that concludes, the pick predictions and picks portion. Now the parlay portion of the show. Going with just the bro on this one. Real quick, make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Much love to all the new subscribers that we've gotten here in the recent weeks. Shout out to the UFC Predictions Tracker. Make sure to check them out for an overview of what all the channels in this space did as far as picks. Who are the best pickers? Who is making the most money out of everybody in this space? Make sure you check out UFC Predictions Tracker. You can check out the little card I'll post up here. Also, make sure that you follow us on IG. You can follow us at Bros Talk MMA. You can follow myself at UTICA_SME. Bro doesn't want you to follow him, so, that is what it is. And you can also follow us at Bros Talk MMA on TikTok as well. Yeah. I mean, we'll be covering the card after this, I believe it's going to be a fight night card at the middleweight weight class between Jared Cannonier going up against RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez. But yeah, outside of that, you got anything else?
Just want to say, on the year, we're 25-13 apiece.
Oh
You
yeah,
realize that, right?
yeah. No, we're tied.
We're tied up,
for
right?
the 2025 season of UFC picks. Me and bro are tied.
Thought you were gonna bring it this year.
25-13. I am bringing it.
You are bringing it. You're tied with me. Yeah.
I'm gradually bringing those fights down.
Now I will say though, he did beat me on the last card. I'll give him his 8-3 versus my 7-4.
I want to say that you're only 17 fights up on me now because I picked Michael Venom Page because I'm fucking smart and you're not.
Whoa there, bud.
Also, I'll just give y'all a graphic real quickly showing not only the picks for the last card, our picks on the year, and then also our all-time picks since we started this show at the beginning of 2024. We've called, close to 600 fights now at this point. And, we've kept our averages for myself in the high 50s, my brother over 60%.
Consistently for a year.
Yep. And so this year right now we're doing well to begin the year and only, adding to our all-time totals and percentages. So, make sure that you, check all that out and keep that in mind when you're checking out the UFC Predictions Tracker, because when we first started with that channel, he only caught us for like the first 5 to 7 months. Now he's about to get this full year and he's going to see why we're different, and we're definitely going to be some of the top predictors in the space with the most ROI, and we're going to have our names highlighted in the green. So, keep a lookout for that. Like I said, much love again for everybody who's tuned in. Unless you got anything else.
I'm the most ass-whipping ass nigga in the space.
Really, nigga?
All right.
You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm not going to disagree. If you win, we win.
That's
You're not
right.
going to win against me, but if you lose against me, you're still going to do well because I'm going to be doing so well that you're not going to get mopped by me by any means. So that means you even keeping up with me is going to constitute for a very
Bro, this is
high
gonna be a
level of
wild-
picking and predicting on a percentage level.
Bro, we got about 3 or 4 fights that we're different on right now. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bad choice by you.
Since you said last year.
Whatever, bro. Fight by fight. We'll see what you say when it's 16 fights. And then when it's 15 fights. And that's not even going to be half of the year.
But I'm still winning.
Okay. And then what? What after we're 0-0 and then I go up a fight? And then I go up 2 fights. And I go up 3 fights. Then what's going to happen?
Means I'm dead. Somebody killed me. And now I'm fucking buried and you're just able to pick fights by yourself.
Nice.
That's what it means.
What, I'm just going to fucking weekend at fucking Bernie's?
That's what it means. It literally means he's
hold
up.
you up here and on the show and you're just going to be like,
It's like Raven didn't make any fights.
My wing. Blah, 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 blah. Same thing.
It means Raven didn't make any fights.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Bro.
So
are you done?
All these picks that I made, I won 4 fights this week. And Ray didn't make any picks, so I'm up on 4. And now I'm up 5. I'm up whatever it is. That's what it is. I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the GOAT. Right? Okay, I'm the GOAT in the making because I'm going to be the GOAT. I'm going to call it 6 years. 6 years that I beat your ass? That's going to happen. Then that's some Jordan shit. You know what I mean? I got the ring every year. Boom, I'm just going to have them all. It's going to be like an Infinity Stone type fucking hand thing I got going on. And a belt and a crown. You know what I mean? Wop wop.
Okay, I look forward
fucking
to seeing
Kendrick
it.
Lamar out here in a fucking a Canadian fucking tuxedo.
I ain't gonna hate. Hey, I wish you the best. Fucking, I wish you the best. But
Psych!
I don't necessarily think that's gonna happen. But hey, I ain't gonna hate on you.
I didn't trust that shit.
I know you didn't. It's okay, bro.
I didn't trust that shit.
Well, We appreciate everybody tuning in. This has been another episode of Bros Talk MMA. I'm your host, Utica, undeniably the illest cat around, a.k.a. Mr. Make This Pick Real Quick. I'm here with my bro host extraordinaire.
You know what it is? It's RayBuck. It's Chuckle Jordan. It is the Parlay God. It is Mr. Give Me My Belt. Hand Me My Crown. It is Mr. Ask Your Mom About Me. It's Mr. Like, I'm going to win this next card. Because I think, was this your second card you won?
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Kill the two fight or 2 card streak. You know what I mean?
Look at this guy.
I'm Mr. Win All Black History Month because I'm strong and black just like coffee, baby.
Is this nigga serious?
I'm Mr. Man, turn this shit off because I don't got no more.
Yeah, I was trying to.
There you go.
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely want to get to the end of this. All right, folks. Well, until the next time, happy betting. Best of luck to everybody this weekend. And until the next time, we out.